Hi everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today we're going to cook some lima beans with mushrooms and tomatoes. I have my pan heating up on just over medium heat. And we're going to start with a little sauté here. I'm using about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. If you prefer to use vegetable broth, at this point, yes, you can do that. I have about 1/3 of a cup of chopped yellow onion that we're going to saute for a little bit. Not all that long, just enough to get them started. To this, we are going to add an 8-ounce package of mushrooms that I've sliced up. You can use whatever kind of mushrooms you want. These are just white button mushrooms, nothing super fancy. It's just what I could come across at the grocery store this time around. Not a problem. And I'm going to go ahead and add into this 2 large cloves of garlic that I've chopped up. I would call, in the recipe I've got 4 cloves of garlic, but that would be for average cloves. These were large, really large, so I'm only using 2. So you be the guide on how much garlic you want in there. You can always add more or you can always add less. So we just want to kind of stir this up a little bit. Alright, we're just going to give this a good stir and let these mushrooms and other vegetables just kind of saute for a couple minutes at the most. Then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. It's really very, very simple to put this together. You can see the mushrooms are just starting to cook a little bit. I just wanted to give them a head start before adding the rest of the ingredients. To this, I am going to add 1 14.5-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes with the juice. You can use any type of diced tomato you want. Some of them do come with flavorings added to them. Use whatever you've got or whatever you can find or whatever you prefer, really. These are just plain diced tomatoes, but you can use ones with celery, bell pepper, and onions in them. Some of them have basil and oregano in there. You can use any of the above. Okay, so there's that. Now to this we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of vegetable broth. You can use water if you want, but it's going to have a little more flavor to it if you add the broth. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of dried basil leaves, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, and just a tiny pinch of red pepper flakes. And again, you can add all the heat you want to it. My husband doesn't like a lot of heat in his food, so I'm very stingy about adding that to it. So now you know why. Just going to give this a stir. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Just a little. Not really a lot. And there's not a lot of peppercorns in my grinder and not a whole lot comes out. So I'm really not adding quite as much as you think there. Stir this up some more. And then I'm going to add a 1-pound package of baby lima beans. Use whatever lima beans you've got. It doesn't have to be the baby ones. This just happens to be what I've got. Now I want to turn the heat up and get this to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down and allow it to simmer with the lid on for roughly 10-15 minutes. It depends on the size of the lima beans. I would look at your package and see how long it takes them to cook on the stove. Some of them take 15-16 minutes. These take about 10 because they're smaller. So I'm just going to bring it to a boil, then turn it down and allow it to cook until the lima beans are tender. And that is it. Alright, you can see this is starting to come to a boil, which is looking good. We'll stir it every now and then as it's cooking, since these lima beans are not completely submerged in liquid. You want to give them a stir now and then, but it's almost ready for me to turn the heat down. Not quite. Alright, here is our finished product, and yes, it is a little saucy, just a little, but that's deliberate because this is delicious served over rice or potatoes or even some sort of a pasta or quinoa or whatever kind of a grain or grain product you want, or like I said, the starchy potatoes. And that sauciness helps to give a little moisture to whatever is underneath of it, and it's delicious like it is or served with other foods like that. Do give this a try sometime and let me know how this works for you. The recipe is below. This is Judi at Judi in the Kitchen. Bye for now.